Hey everyone, welcome to this week's episode of Talking Tampa Bay Sports with Ro. My name's Ro. We're going to talk about Tampa Bay sports. This is for the week of 12/6/21. I guess I'm going to put a date to it. Just so people have a point of reference. Hey, speaking of point of reference, if you're listening to this, please hit like, subscribe, notification, hit something. I'd really appreciate it. That'd be cool. I don't do this because of that, but it would be nice to know that people are out there listening. So anyway, I made the commitment to do this on Mondays and Fridays going forward. I've made it to I did Friday. I made it to Monday. This is the Monday show, so congratulations to me. Thank you very much. Let's get more applause in there. Actually, this is probably more how it should be. Yeah. Lightning had back-to-backs. Great games, both of them. The Flyers game today, 7-1. It was out of hand, but those are fun. I mean, sometimes yesterday's game against the Bruins, the 3-2 win, that was a fun game to watch. That was a really fun game to watch. So sometimes you need a 7-1 game. And that's what we got today. So great weekend in hockey. Let's see. We had the youngsters starting to score, which was really, really cool. So it was funny because originally in my notes for today, I had written down that we were just waiting for Tkachuk and Forte to score after Radish scored shorthanded yesterday. And then Radish scored again today, and then Tkachuk scored. So that was pretty cool. So, and then Perry's going off. I mean, I think he has 5 goals in the last 8 games, something like that, which is pretty amazing. So slow start, and he is coming on strong. Maroon got another goal. I love Big Rig. I like his style of play. I do have a maroon Lightning sweater that I wear proudly. That's when they're on the road. That's why I wear maroon as my white jersey sweater. Sorry. So it was a lot of fun to watch the Bruins game on Saturday, but I did miss having Marchand to root against. And honestly, it doesn't seem like the Bruins are very tough right now at all, which is sad because I have mentioned before that I would say they are my second, not favorite. It is my second. I mean, I don't know how you would quantify it because it would be if you know what other team besides the Lightning do you know the most about? Goalies, defensive lines, offensive lines, just history, things of that nature. It would be Boston for me. So it just... last time we played there, that's when I think Maroon went after Chara twice. So, and there were 7,400 minutes and penalties given out that game. I'm not sure that's the actual number. It's a guesstimation from a recollection. But anyway, so that was going on. What other notes did I make about this weekend? I kept writing down notes because I needed to know that. Oh, that's a note. I'll get to that later. Here's a note. I know I'm jumping around. I do that. Welcome to my world. You're not married to me, so you have it better than my wife, I will say. I jump around a lot, and she just has to follow. I need Florida to stop fucking losing to University of Oklahoma. Just in anything would be great. So my father graduated from University of Oklahoma in 1953. And he's still alive. He's 90. So if you want to do the math, he's 90. He is well past his expiration date, and I don't mean to sound I don't care how that sounds, actually. But I need Florida to stop losing to Oklahoma. I don't need to put up with the other shit that I have to hear from him about other things, like how I've let him down. Whatever. I don't need to hear about that. And then have Oklahoma be... I mean, Florida was undefeated. I wouldn't have said anything. But he's 90. He does not do anything. He sits there. You know what he does? He spends my inheritance one purchase at a time through the Newsmax channel store, online store. So a 90-year-old, he bought 5 razors because it was a good deal. And someone on a channel told him to. So while he's doing that, I don't need him to also be able to tell me that OU beat Florida in anything. Football, basketball, softball. It doesn't matter. I don't need that shit in my life. Let's see. What else was going on? I have a note about tennis, and then I'm like... Oh, that's because someone had asked me because it was about Tampa-based sports, and Tampa it doesn't have 4 seasons like Kansas City does, so you could play outdoor tennis all year round. And I know that people play tennis around here. There is a large indoor facility dedicated, I believe, mainly to tennis. And then I know there are a lot of outdoor venues that people play whenever the weather is nice. I was never into tennis myself. I had mentioned OU earlier. My uncle went to University of Oklahoma on a tennis scholarship. My dad was very good. They tried to teach me. I hated tennis. So that was something that we just did not have in common. That's when I screamed, I wish I was adopted. And they're like, you were. And I was like, oh, that's right. That's why I don't like tennis. So, anyway, I was never much into tennis. My dad and my uncle tried to get me into tennis. I just was never into it. The only thing that I enjoyed about tennis was in the 80s. I enjoyed listening to women's tennis. And I did say listening, not watching, because Monica Seles played and she used to grunt. And so at that time, I would just masturbate while she was grunting in the background on TV. It was amazing, except every once in a while the newscasters would talk over it, and that can be a real cock block. But whatever. So, and then in the 90s, I used to masturbate to Andre Agassi's hair. Not him himself, just his hair, because as someone who's bald, it doesn't matter what that. It can be a mullet. And oddly enough, I found out when I looked this up when Andre Agassi had his long hair, because I didn't want to get my time frame off and I made a joke that I masturbated to Andre Agassi's hair in the 90s, and someone go, oh, he didn't have long hair in the 90s. So I looked it up. He wore a wig in the 90s because he is bald. Oh, that cracks me up. If you haven't learned it by now, one thing that I do lust over is hair. If I woke up tomorrow with long, flowing gray locks, I mean, I'm 54, so it's not like I'm going to have jet brown hair or something like that. But if I woke up, I would be insufferable. Just an insufferable prick. What other notes do I have? Oh, it was good to see Chernak back last night, and then he was out. I know you're listening to this Monday or something else I'm referencing. So on Saturday's Bruins game, Chernak was back. He was out for Sunday's game. I do think Foote is playing a lot better. I'd mentioned in the past that it seemed like every time he tried to block a shot that it was going to be redirected into our own goal. I do not feel that way anymore, although I do think it's odd. I haven't seen him try to block as many shots. I did enjoy him going after, I believe it was Konechny, when it looked like he hit Elliott, and I don't think that he actually did hit Elliott, but Foote went after him, and that was pretty cool. And I think we had all of our youngsters on the ice, and they all stepped up, so that was pretty cool. I think there was Foote, Radish, Kachuk, Colton. Yeah. So anyway, so that was cool to see them step up. Joseph was back, though, today. I can't get over how well Corey Perry's playing. I mean, I know that he is good, but when we signed him, I was like, well, there we go. We're not going to win this year. We'll make it to the finals and we'll lose because that's what Corey Perry does over the last couple of years with Dallas and then with Montreal. And to start the season, I thought that I was going to be right. I mean, he wasn't gelling. He wasn't, and that can take some time. I have never played hockey, much less organized hockey. So I do not know how long it takes for a new teammate to fit in like that, especially when you have so many veterans on the team with tenure on the team. I don't know how long that takes. Back when the only real sport that I played organized in was basketball, and as long as people knew how to pass me the ball, everything was good. I was the one that once was caught on I was caught on tape. Someone was recording, and this is how long ago it was on tape. This was back in the 90s. I was recorded in a summer league here in Kansas City, saying to one of my teammates, there may not be an I in team, but there sure is a win. Pass me the fucking ball. So that was recorded. I wish I would have kept that. That would have actually been kind of funny. Brady was Brady today, and we won a game that we should. That was nice. I do feel like this season we play better when we are more challenged or focused. On the yawner games, I think that is more difficult for the Buccaneers right now, but what the fudge do I know? Let's see. What else? Oh, back-to-back shorthanded goals. I just wrote notes. As things happen, that's when I wrote notes. So where are my notes? Because I jumped from one thing to another, and it may be hard to follow. This is exactly what it's like to have my wife when she has sex with me. It's like this, that she never knows what's going on, and it's probably just going to abruptly end. I'll just be like, finished, scene, and I'm done. Because I think I've talked through all my notes. I don't even know what we have coming up. Oh, we have Canadian games this week, which is kind of cool. That is one thing that I had missed since the pandemic started and we stopped traveling to the Canadian cities, is that I love the Canadian national anthem. I think it's a beautiful song. I really do. So I'm excited. This week we get to hear it 3 times. So we have Montreal in a rematch, which is weird. Stanley Cup rematch, but Eastern Conference, whatever. So we have that Tuesday night. Thursday night we have Toronto. We'll see how good they are. I think they're 4 points ahead. We have 2 games in hand, so we're neck and neck. So Thursday night should see how we match up against the unmustachioed Austin Matthews and the Toronto Maple Leafs. And then Saturday we have Ottawa and one of the Kachucks who make me go, "Blah." Not a big fan of theirs. I don't know why. On NHL, whenever I play against a team that has a Kachuk on it, I always try to fight them. I just skate around the ice and try to pick a fight with them. Yeah. Let's see. And then next week we have Bills and Buccaneers, which I believe seemed like it was going to be a much maybe a preview of something to come on the Super Bowl preview, perhaps, but I'm not so sure right now. The Bills are, I think, barely above 500. I don't know. I really don't pay that much attention to other football teams. And if you've listened to this show in the past, you'll probably say, well, you don't pay that much attention to your current football teams either. And that's right. I will usually figure out who they're playing the day of. It's not that big a deal. Our oldest daughter, the young lad that she is dating, whatever it's called now, she was watching their Chiefs-Broncos game tonight, which were in Kansas City. So, Chiefs fans. And playing a hated team like the Broncos, both geographically and historically a bitter team for Kansas City fans to digest. So she sent a video, our daughter sent a video to my wife of the guys. I guess there were 6 guys that were watching the game. And let's just say I do not believe that I ever was like that. Because they were cheering out. They were very vocal. And I don't, unless I'm trash talking someone, I usually am not very vocal about that. For a long time watching Gators football and basketball, especially Gators basketball, 06, 07, during their back-to-back runs, I spent a lot of time on my knees and elbows, forehead to the ground, praying, and people do, you should watch it. We should watch the game. We actually have a huge Gator Alumni Club here in Kansas City, and we used to get together for all the football games before the football team went, and then for many of the big basketball games. And people would ask, and I go, basketball, I just can't do it. I couldn't do it. I don't know what. And I'm not like that anymore. So I guess I was to that some extent, but I was more on the quiet side than they're on the loud side. I mean, they were loud for a game. And that's cool and funny and interesting. I'm sure I was like that. It was a long time ago. It was over 30 years ago. That's how much difference there is. Give me a second. Okay. So I'm going to come back on Friday. What am I going to have to talk about on Friday? I am going to talk about a couple of hockey games. Hopefully wins. Whatever. I don't care right now. We're playing really well, though. And that was another thing. 2 things. I don't think I've mentioned about Elliott. If I already have, then I'm sorry. Elliott looks tiny. Compared to Vasilevsky, who Vazzy's, God, I want to say 6'3", 2 something. 220 maybe-ish, 215. I don't know, somewhere in that neighborhood. And I know there's lots of pads involved and everything, but Elliott looks tiny. And see, when they say Vazzy's, when I've heard his stats before, it wasn't like I was overly impressed. I'm 6'5", and so it wasn't like I was like, oh my God, he's just a giant. But compared between the pipes, compared to Elliott, he does look like a giant. I really wanted Elliott to get that shutout today. I will say I am feeling more comfortable this season with Elliott between the pipes, giving Vazzy a break than I did the past couple of years with McElhaney in there. It seemed like every time McElhaney was in, I just expected we were going to lose. And that did have more to do with him being there as opposed to the absence of Vazzy. I thought we were just more vulnerable. I thought I don't know anything. From my little bystander, outside hockey news reading magazine guy, I thought there could have been better options. So Elliott I feel much more confident with him there, although he looks tiny. He does look like, I need to look that up. before next week. So I'll have 2 games to talk about. Who knows? Maybe the Gators will fire a football coach and hire a football coach again in that time. I don't know. Oh, we may have Antonio Brown updates too, so we'll see. So currently, I haven't even touched on this. What a fucking... I think they should cut him. I like him, but I don't think anyone else is going to touch him. It's not like at this point we cut him and we're afraid that he goes to another team. Are we better with him than without him? From a purely on-field standpoint, of course we are. Are we better without him? I would say we are, but I think it's going to be a stretch to say that a forged... I don't know what I'm talking about. I was going to say that may not be the biggest worry that the Buccaneers may have on there, but I don't understand why you want to fake that. I mean, I just don't get that at all. And the people that say, oh, well, I'm researching. No, you're not. You're not that bright. Trust me. I don't know you, but I know people, and you're not that bright. So I don't understand why. Okay. And if he even said, well, I'm nervous of what it may do to you or something. This is the guy that froze his fucking feet off in a cryogenic chamber. So... if that's his excuse, he needs to be punched in the face. You know, once again, I go back to the rules of hockey should be the rules of life. You should be able to size someone up, and if you want to drop the gloves, you drop the gloves. Because someone needs to drop the gloves with him and slap that guy. So we'll see what happens. I just don't understand doing that. And I've heard of other people. I heard of people that were getting fake vaccine cards to go to a concert. And here's my thing. If you don't want to get a vaccine, if you just said, I don't want to get it, for whatever reason, I am not comfortable with that. My psyche, and you don't have to give me an explanation. Like, I believe it was my sister who said that she knew a lot of people that died from the vaccine. And I said, that's bullshit. You didn't know anyone that died. She will not get the vaccine. And she is not as young and not as healthy as me. But I heard that people got fake vaccine cards to go to a concert. And I'm like, so your integrity is worth less to you than going to a concert. And that's kind of how I feel with Antonio Brown. And, you know, I do hope it does not look like the NFL has gone through everyone's. I wouldn't be surprised in the upcoming weeks if other teams have players suspended. So maybe this is better that how this came out. Because to my knowledge, the only 3 that were suspended were Buccaneers players or former players. So Antonio Brown, I believe it was Mike Edwards, and John Franklin III, who was preseason practice squad, something like that. And I don't believe he's with the team currently, but he has been suspended by the NFL if anyone ever picks him up. But I don't think that will happen. But whatever. So anyway, so we may have news on that. So we'll have 2 games. Maybe we'll have news. We may get to hear something from Florida's new football coach on whether or not, or just what the makeup of his staff is going to look like. Maybe he'll have some recruiting news. I know that near the end of Dan Mullen's tenure, there was some churn with some of the signees or commitments to University of Florida's football program. So whether that's changed. And honestly, I don't know much about the new coach and his football style. I believe that he is a Nick Saban disciple, so I don't know if it means that he's going to run something more similar to that. So we'll see. Although I do think that has changed. That's one thing that's great about Nick Saban. I believe his offense is suit the talent that he has recruited and brought in. So that'll be neat. And I hear this new coach is quite a recruiter, which would be amazing. You know, I will say the one thing about Ron Zook that I miss is his recruiting. I remember hearing a story about him not too long after he got hired and said if he could get a waterproof phone that he could recruit while he's in the shower and get an extra 15 minutes of recruiting a day, which I thought was an amazing quote. And he was an amazing recruiter. I mean, he really was. So I hope to get that back because I do miss getting the number one overall high school football player to come to University of Florida. What was it? I think one of the highest rated people ever was Ronald Powell. And I remember when he signed with Florida, and that was just amazing. And some of the people that they've had and the top recruiting. I mean, when they would talk recruiting classes, they would talk about us being number 1, number 2, number 3 in the land. And now we're not even in the top half of the SEC, it seems like, which is ridiculous. So hopefully he'll turn that recruiting deficiency that we've had recently around. And with all the crap that Dan Mullen said about recruiting, hopefully that will change as well. So we'll have a few things to talk about. This has been probably the longest show. And see what helps a lot is winning. All of our teams just continue to win, and I'll continue to have content for the show. I won't be bitter. I won't be upset. I won't be mad and steamy about it. So anyway, thank you all so much. Hey, if you haven't, please follow, please like, please subscribe, please hit notifications. I am going to make a commitment to get a show out every Monday, every Friday for you. Hopefully that will be, I'm going to try to keep it under a half an hour. So I think I have no trouble doing that, but that will give you something to listen to on your ride to, from school, work, library. Do people even do that anymore? Go to the library? Anyway, so we'll keep them short and sweet. But also, if you go to Instagram, and I do not have an Instagram account specifically for this show. I do have multiple shows. One of my podcasts is The Ro Show with Steven. But I have an Instagram account called The Ro Show Podcast. And that is where I usually will post when we have a new episode. And so what I want to do is I don't really track, I do not track people that, subscribers, how many listeners. It just doesn't matter to me. But I did notice when I made that post that I had a few people that I didn't know that liked my post. So I thought that until I get a number that is too many for me to read, I don't know what that is, 15, 20, 25, I will read at each episode the new people that have liked the latest post. And that it just, some people like that. Maybe it'll keep people from liking it, but hopefully you will like it. So if you do like it, this week we had Luke_Farmer_ and J4EN_. Thank you for your likes on Instagram. So let's talk on Tampa Bay Sports with Ro. It's under the Instagram account, the Ro Show Podcast. And just so you know, I do have another. I don't know why I never made one for this show, but I do have another podcast with my wife, which is, don't have kids around, honestly, if no. For this one, but it's called The Longest One Night Stand with Bobbi and Ro. So if you're married, in a relationship, have been in a relationship, have kids, want to have kids, had sex, haven't had sex, gone to a swingers club, haven't, we talk a lot of stuff on there. So join us on that. That's another podcast as well. Anyway, I'm going to hit the 30-minute mark, and I don't want to do that. So this is Ro. You've been talking Tampa Bay sports with Ro. I'll talk to y'all on Friday. Deuces.